Hello guys, welcome to Seen Through Wrist. I'm your host. In today's video, I would like to talk about demand for Rolex watches and have a discussion about what's happening at the moment. What's on my wrist today? I am wearing a Rolex Yacht-Master 40 reference 126655 in precious rose gold with black Oysterflex strap. It is a lovely watch, incredibly comfortable and probably your safe bet in terms of wearing a precious metal Rolex that won't make you a target in big cities like London and New York. We've been observing a huge spike in demand for all Rolex across the board, with new releases introduced earlier this week. I remember a few years ago, the main watches everyone was talking about were main sports Rolexes like Submariner, GMT Master 2 and Daytonas, of course. Right now, regardless of the metal of choice, model reference, complications, most of the Rolex are in huge demand, being highly sought after. This is great news to a lot of people who already own some Rolex timepieces. However, this is incredibly bad news for people who have just started getting into luxury watches. If you are the latter case, then you'll have to wait years for your beautiful timepiece straight from the authorized dealer. If you don't fancy waiting, then you have to pay a hefty premium on the pre-owned watch market. Who's to blame for the tough situation, you might be asking? I'm eager to say it's everyone's fault. However, first, we have to understand how it all started and distinguish everyone's role in supply and demand for watches like Rolex. A great example to illustrate the past: Rolex Submariner Hulk with reference of 116610LV. When it was first introduced, nobody wanted the watch as it was green. The watch used to sell for below its retail price. You didn't have to wait for it, as it was readily available in most of the Rolex authorized dealers. Here we are, 10 years later, the same model sells for anything from £20,000 above. Who's to blame in this case? There has been a huge shift in people's taste, trends and wealth. These days people have more money but looking for a safe place to allocate it into something that will hold its value or appreciate. There are classic cars, art, wine, properties, etc. People have clocked that timepieces are probably the smartest of all. Everyone can recognize Rolex. You can take your watch with you anywhere you go and sell it wherever you are, with no hassle at all. The costs involved in buying and then owning a luxury watches are servicing costs every 5 to 10 years and insurance. The latter is optional and a lot of people still don't insure their watches properly. My advice would be to add it on to your contents insurance, depending on the value of your timepiece. Get a proper safe or a safety deposit box in your bank. Compared to storing an artwork or wine, watches are incredibly easy to manage. They don't need a lot of space. Hence, a lot of people have decided to allocate some of their savings into timepieces. It's much better than having your money in deposit account, incurring very little to no interest, which is a joke. Banks make a ton of profit on your money and giving you next to nothing in return. Be smart, give them less money. After we explain the reasoning behind watches being extremely popular, we can now discuss the oracle of the whole pyramid, Rolex themselves. Rolex, with headquarters in Geneva, decides how much stock each shop gets and what sort of pieces are included in the allocations. Rolex authorized dealers are dependent on the oracle as they have thousands of clients lined up for all watches. They have no influence over what watches are coming next in the batch from Rolex. The more prestigious the shop, the better allocations expected. The more prestigious shop, the wealthier customers on waiting lists. The wealthier customers on waiting lists, the harder it is to get on waiting list for anything. Right now, what matters is your purchase history with specific authorized dealer. For anyone who is just getting into watches and wants to buy their first Rolex, don't give up. Give yourself enough time to visit your local AD and do some research on your own. Build up your purchase history in a steady pace by exploring entry-level watches and working your way up to sports timepieces. The world has changed in so many ways. A lot of items of everyday use have become commoditized. Even though you're an average person just trying to get the watch that you've been after for a long time, you need to understand that you are buying into a commoditized item that will be your investment. No matter how angry you are about the current situation, you won't change it. So you can cry about it like a little baby or just do your best to get the watch that you cherish for a long time. It takes time and effort, however, in the end, in my opinion, it is definitely worth it, both for wearing your watches and knowing that your money is safe. I'm really looking forward to reading your thoughts on this topic. Let me know in the comments below. Did you get your watch that you've been after for a long time? Are you still waiting? What's the situation? I think that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe to Scene Through Wrist and stay tuned for more. Bye!